everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create, and we're working on, what are we working on? We're working on page 7. Sorry about that. I had a mental lapse there. So on page 2, same design, I accidentally glued my mat down to the pocket page first, and we're not going to do that this time. We are going to be attaching this flap here. There's going to be a magnet on this side and then a magnet on the back side of this, and then we're going to install it. So let's go ahead and start by, let me think about page 7, its orientation. So I can have it open this way, or I can have it open this way. So I'm trying to decide which way do I want my flaps to operate. And I think I want it this way because page 7, the spine will be here, and this will be the outside, so it'll open away from the spine. It's not that critical, but I always like to think about that, so that when you're opening it up, when you're looking at your 2-page spread, your flaps from one side are not necessarily interfering with the opposing page. So that's just a design consideration. Sometimes it works out beautifully. Other times you wind up with flaps going over each other. It's kind of hard to... Now I said that 10 times and now I have to think about what I'm doing again. This way, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put a magnet on the inside here. And then that's good. And then we're going to add our tape to this double flap, and I'm going to tell you the measurements in just a second. And I actually trimmed it, and then when I went to lay down these cut aparts, I needed to trim it a little bit more. So this should be more accurate than what I told you on page 2. I gave you the measurements prior to trimming a little sliver off each side. So it's going to be a little bit different than the measurement I gave you on page 2. And it is turning out to be 8 and 3/8, 8 and 3/8, and it's scored at 3 and 5/8 and 4 and 5/8. So here's what I would recommend. I would recommend oversizing this and then pulling in, you just need a 1-inch gusset here, pulling in your cards, and then you can lay it sideways and then decide the height and trim down the overall height of this, and then look at it individually and see if you need to make it a little bit smaller, and you would just trim each side individually. That's actually what I wound up doing on page 2, and I think that's going to give you the best result. So I'm giving you what I did here, but again, I would probably recommend doing what I did on page 2, and basically it was 8.5. I started with 8.5 inches. I have to think about this. And then I have in the center of that, I have a 1-inch score. And then I wound up trimming the flaps to fit. So something to think about. Again, it goes this way. I was going to put that on upside down. Okay, these are both the same cards. I used 2 12x12 packs, so I got 2 sets of these cards. I'm going to use the flip side on the inside, and this is going to be on the outside. Okay, and then I need a little bit more tape. Okay, that's in, and then the flip side. Is going to go right here. So I'm going to look at that. Do I like this? That's one way to do it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I was trying to see if this was directional, and it's pretty directional. So I'm going to put it in right side up. Sometimes you can just flip it around and it doesn't really matter. Okay, that's it. Now we're ready to install this here. So I want to take a look at where, when I open this up, I'm just looking to see where is this guy going to be, you know, how much is going to be exposed. And I think I kind of like this. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let's get our tape off. Okay, and I'm just looking to, I'm gonna put it on my grid straight. Make sure I'm squared off and that this tape is not covering any of the main part of the design, and it's not. Now I've got these beautiful lines here on the bottom that I can use to help guide me, and I'm going to do just that. It's not laying perfectly flat, sorry about that. Okay, and I think I'm about a ½ inch from the edge. And there's no science there, it's just visually whatever looks most interesting. Okay, so that's gonna open like that, and that, now we need to get that opposing magnet on the back side here. And there we go. Let's get some tape over it, and then we can install this. And then I'm gonna have to take a quick break and trim out my B-sides. Okay. So here is page 7, and this is upright. It's very rare that I just don't do very many designs that call for me to put the magnet on the back of the mat. But it's required because the flaps are installed on top of the mat and not under the mat. I have to do it after I install the flaps, if that makes any sense to you guys. Okay. Yay! This is such a beautiful paper collection. Hope you guys are liking my project. Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of time and go trim out the B-sides. And when I come back in a few minutes, we'll get those covered. Hey everyone, it's Daphne, and I went away and trimmed out these 2 pieces for the B-side of page 7. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. And it looks like I still need to trim this down a little bit. I thought I was done, but I think it's a little too tight. Okay, that looks good height, but I need it a little bit thinner, narrower. Anyways, hope everybody's doing good. I'm winding down today, and in a few minutes I'm gonna get dinner started. And I don't know what that's gonna be. Something easy and cool. It's warm here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Glue. Lovely, lovely. Okay, now we're ready to do something here. sorry, that's an insert on the back side. And that's pretty tight. Let me trim it a little bit more. Let's see how we did. Yeah, like it. It's good. Okay, so again, we're on page 7. Wrapping up. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Okay, that's it for page 7. Thanks everybody. Be back soon. Page 8.